Okay, guys, I've said this before. I'm going to say this again. Certain markets in the antiques and collectibles trade are extremely more speculative than others. As a matter of fact, you guys that have been with me since the beginning, you already know what I'm about to say next. There are only 3 markets that make up the entire antiques and collectibles trade. If it's collectible, if it has a stable secondary market, it belongs either in the speculative category, the established category, and or the mature sophisticated category. Now, a lot of people love to argue with me about what collectible belongs in each of those categories. And I can tell you firsthand, there's people that love to overvalue the item that they have a passion for. And they end up misanalyzing the item as it stands in the collectibles marketplace. And this is a big problem for a lot of the Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters that come into these markets and they try to invest or make money in these particular products. For instance, let me use this as an example. Let's say that we are looking at Funko Pops, which is what we're going to be talking about today, Beanie Babies, Pez dispensers. Are you aware? All those products that I just named are pretty much the same. They are extremely speculative, they are highly volatile, and all of them are based in some manner of mass-produced scarcity. Now, let's talk about vintage Star Wars figures made by Kenner Toys from literally 1978 all the way up to 1984, 1985. The original trilogy Star Wars figures is what I'm referring to. They did also do the Ewok line. They did the Droids line. That's all in there as well. If we look at that market, that is still a speculative market. But if you cannot see the difference between investing or speculating in a Funko Pop versus a vintage Star Wars figure from the late 1970s or 1980s, I don't think you have a good grasp on how the antiques and collectibles trade works. Obviously, the vintage Kenner Star Wars figure is eventually at some point, hopefully, if Star Wars stays with us, hopefully that particular product line will move from the speculative category that it is still in to the established bucket of how we view those particular collectibles going forward. Now, we're not there yet, but I'm here to tell you, Funko Pops are mostly not going to ever become an established collecting category. And I know a lot of you guys are going nuts whenever I say that. The same thing is true with Beanie Babies. The same thing was true. I used to argue with Pez collectors about this all the time back in the day. They said, no, Sean, 20, 30 years from now, Pez collecting will be an established market in collectibles. Well, if you call up any auction house, you call up Heritage, you call up Hakes, in order for them to take your wonderful vintage Pez dispensers and put them in their latest auction, you have any idea how much that Pez dispenser has to be worth? There are very few Pez dispensers that auction houses are taking in the year 2023. As a matter of fact, if you look at the offerings of Hakes, I'm a fan of their auction house as well as Heritage, or even Morphe's auction. If you look, very rarely anymore do they offer any vintage Pez dispensers. It's because the market is pretty much dead, dying, and is speculative. It is not an established market. So again, for the record, if you cannot understand the difference between a Funko Pop versus that of a vintage toy line as popular as the Kenner Star Wars line, you're not understanding the core fundamentals as to how the antiques and collectibles trade works. But we can even take this further. Let's look at a Funko Pop versus a vintage Star Wars figure versus a rare coin or a traditional antique or a historical document or a high-end piece of art. Which one do you think is the better long-term investment? Hint, and this is where a lot of you guys are going to get mad at me, it's not the Funko Pop, it's not the vintage Star Wars figure, it's the mature, sophisticated collectible that I just mentioned. The rare coin, the historical document, the high-end piece of art, the traditional antique. That does not mean that you still cannot make money with the Funko Pop or the vintage Star Wars figure or toy. There are ways to make money with those assets. But if you held a gun to my head and said I had to choose one of those categories, speculative, established, mature, sophisticated, hold it to the long term, and hope it doesn't lose money, I'm going after the item that's in the mature, sophisticated bucket in the antiques and collectibles trade. I'm not risking it on any of these pop culture collectibles. I'm not risking it on Beanie Babies, Funko Pops, Pez dispensers, Pogs, whatever you guys are putting your crazy money in. It's not for me under those circumstances. Now, with that being said, I came across an article that was published on May 23rd, 2021 online. Now, for the record, what was happening May 23rd, 2021? Do I have to remind you guys? We were still knee-deep in the pandemic. So it's very important that I state that, because this was some of the hype-driven material that individuals, companies were putting out on the internet that got a lot of the Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters to buy into these prices at all-time highs. And this is a perfect example of this, guys. And it really pains me that somebody watched my Funko Pop video and literally felt a need to send me a link to this particular article, which is all, I'm just going to say it, this article's bullshit. So we're going to go through. I'm not going to even read all of it, but I am going to get to the good part that I want to respond to. This article is actually entitled 10 Reasons Why Funko Pops Are Not a Waste of Money. Now, I disagree with almost all of these points. This article premiered on a website, and tell me this isn't biased, popandfigures.com. I've never heard of the website, but I did get a link to this particular article, so we are going to go through all 10 reasons why this particular author of this piece thinks that Funko Pops are not a waste of money. Spoiler alert, they're almost all wrong. So, reason number one, that Funko Pops, according to this author, is not a waste of money. Funko Incorporated has entered the NFT marketplace. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, how's the NFT marketplace doing in the year 2023? Newsflash, it's pretty much in the toilet. And reason for that is, part of the fun of collecting and investing in this stuff is that you actually have a physical item to hold, love, and own. When we talk about NFTs, when we talk about crypto, when we talk about digital assets, it kind of takes the fun out of this, number one. And number two, when we talk about NFTs specifically, that market was propped up, guys. It's not really showing to have legitimate legs into the future as of yet. Don't get me wrong. All these companies are going to adopt NFTs of something, whether it's Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, Lego, video game companies. They're most likely all going to hop on the NFT marketplace if they see it as a viable means of increasing profits. And we all know a lot of these companies are publicly traded. They got to grease the wheels of Wall Street and convince their investors that they're growing 10% per year on average just to maintain their stock prices. So with that being said, I understand why these companies are doing it, but in my opinion, it is a losing strategy. So this is number one. As explained in the previous sections by Funko Inc., entering the NFT market has shown its adaptability to current market trends. As the world takes advantage of blockchain technology, Funko did not leave the company behind. With the content the company has, the move has secured its future. I completely disagree. Any company, Pez if they wanted to, Beanie Babies if they wanted to, Pogs, Star Wars, Disney, any company can get involved on the NFT marketplace bandwagon. This is not a unique thing to Funko Pop. So why are we making it seem that simply because Funko Pop back in 2021 has agreed to enter the NFT marketplace, it means that they're immune from any market downturn, and they're also at the cutting edge of technology? I'm sorry, this is BS. You could apply this to Topps baseball cards. You could apply this to any market, Pokemon. This could literally say, MetaZoo has entered the NFT marketplace. It would not matter. Do you guys understand how stupid this is? Number two, according to this list, this is the number two reason why Funko Pops are not a waste of money. New Funko Pops are being released weekly and monthly. I really hate to tell you, that's actually a bad thing. It's just like, go to any Lego store in the year 2023. Lego used to be simple. They used to have only a couple of product lines. You would walk in, you would choose from the city line, the castle line, and the space line. Now you walk into a Lego store, it's like, well, gee, we have the $800 set that's based on the newest Lego Star Wars property. We got the $500, what is it, Rivendell set that's based on Lord of the Rings. We got all these other exclusives. We got Marvel superheroes, DC superheroes. We got Indiana Jones making a comeback, Harry Potter, and all the little Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters that speculate and invest in Lego. Yes, it has organic collectability. I'm not saying it doesn't, but you need to understand, quite possibly, most of those sets that are being produced, they all cannot go up in value. All is what it's doing is confusing the marketplace. You really have to understand the dynamics of Lego investing, more videos coming soon, and realize how that market works to be able to profit from it. I think we all agree, those of us that have been around Lego, speculating, investing in these sets, even if you're just a collector, the market has substantially changed in the year 2023 from what it was back in 2010, 2012, when very few people were walking into a Lego store and hoarding this stuff, calling it a quote-unquote investment. It's no different with this other stuff. The fact that Funko is re-releasing or releasing more and more product on a weekly or monthly basis just clogs up the marketplace that much more. It's just like right now in 2023. Look at Magic the Gathering. Look at what Hasbro has done to the brand. Do you have any idea how many different versions of booster boxes and sets there are for Magic the Gathering? It's insane. Nobody can keep caught up on this. You need a freaking forensic degree in accounting to keep caught up on the magnitude of different box configurations Wizards of the Coast is releasing just on a monthly basis for Magic the Gathering. Every time a new set comes out, you got Commander product, you got draft booster boxes, you got collector booster boxes, you got Jumpstart, all this crazy stuff. It's insane. This is not a good thing. This is an oversaturation of the market. Now, according to this article, though, Funko holds licenses from multiple content providers. For instance, Marvel TV show. Yes, it's actually written as Marvel TV show, whatever the hell that means. As the content providers keep releasing new movies and TV shows, Funko gets the chance to introduce new lines, most of which will hit the bargain bins. And spoiler alert, since we are in the year 2023, a lot of this shit is going to end up getting filled and thrown into a landfill. That's pretty much the future of Funko Pops. Congratulations, Mr. Author. You not only failed Finance 101, you failed Antiques and Collectibles 101. Number 3, Funko keeps improving its virtual and in-person conventions. Now, I don't mean to be a spoiler of bad news, but if we get my DeLorean time machine and we go back to the 1990s when Beanie Babies were a thing, what one thing do you think a lot of these individuals that were trying to prop up the price of Beanie Babies were doing? They were doing in-person conventions. Why? It was great for their bottom line. Ty, the company that produced Beanie Babies, loved the fact that people would get together. People would conglomerate around this stuff. They would pay a premium for it, and they would go tell their friends, man, that Beanie Baby I paid $6 for, I just sold it for $122. I am the man, and if you're not investing in Beanie Babies, you don't know what you're doing. That's what would happen. So guess what? This has been the trend literally ever since the 60s and 70s. If we look at the history of mass-produced scarcity, going all the way back to those infomercials that would appear on late night television where Aunt Sally would be told that she could either buy this wonderful Norman Rockwell collector plate for one payment of $59.99 or because Aunt Sally, she was on fixed income, she was on Social Security, she could buy that particular product with 3 easy payments of $19.99. And what Aunt Sally didn't know, that little collector plate that they told her they're only making 10,000 of, that's true. But it was manufactured in China, and it cost them $1.65 to make that damn collector plate. In 20 years, when Aunt Sally goes to sell it on the secondary market, no one's going to care about that collector plate. What the hell are you doing? I'm not going to give you X number of dollars for a Norman Rockwell collector plate. Hell, what do I care about that for? What do I care that back you saw an infomercial, you paid 3 easy payments of $19.99 to get that collector plate? That means nothing to me. in the year 2000. I can't help that you were stupid in the 1980s watching Phil Donahue, Sally Jesse Raphael. You saw a commercial that came on the TV and said, hey, I got to get my credit card and act now. You act it now. I'm not acting now 20 years in the future to give you any money for this piece of shit. So that's what you got to see, guys. All this stuff is utilized mass-produced scarcity. Mass-produced scarcity works great when the companies that produce it they get all the Timmies and Kimmies excited. They get them to come together in one place, and they get them to spend all their hard-earned money and tell all their friends how great these items are. So let's go to number 4. According to this list, this is the 4th reason why Funko Pops are not a waste of money. Evergreen content and pop lines. Oh, where have I heard this before? It's content that is not dependent on the latest movies, TV shows, and video games. For example, in 2022, there was no new content coming through because of the pandemic. Nevertheless, Funko leveraged classic evergreen content like Friends and Sopranos and kept up the excitement in the fan base. The 68% rise in sales during the pandemic, no less, is a sign that the classic evergreen strategy works. Again, you can say that about any mass-produced product, from Lego to Beanie Babies to current Star Wars figures. Whatever it is, guys, they can easily call it evergreen. For crying out loud, most people don't realize this. If we go back to the 80s, Masters of the Universe, Transformers, there's people out there that consider those particular toy lines to be evergreen. I keep saying this. Masters in the Universe and Transformers in the year 2023 to younger collectors, younger people that are toy enthusiasts that are growing up, they're not going to have the same attachment or connection to Transformers and Masters of the Universe as people my age, because if you're my age, you remember coming home from school, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you had to turn the TV on because you wanted to see the newest episode of He-Man, Power of Grayskull, or G.I. Joe, whatever your thing was. Younger generations don't have that same attachment. They don't understand. All they know is streaming platforms and potentially cable television. That's it. It's not the same. This is ridiculous. Let's go to number 5. Pop culture market is here to stay. Wow! What an amazing, amazing reason that Funko Pops are not a waste of money. Pop culture market's here to stay. I would have never been able to figure that out. Again, you can apply this to Star Wars. You can apply this to comic books. You can apply this to video games. You can apply this to Pokemon, Magic the Gathering. Hey guys, did you know that the pop culture market is here to stay? I'm not going to even read what this particular individual wrote because that is so stupid to use that as a reason that Funko Pops are not a waste of money. Next, wait, I love this. Here we go. Supply is limited, so the value increases over time. Yes, Timmy, anybody can manufacture an item and go, you know what? Instead of making 20,000 of these, let's only make 1,000. Or you know what? Let's make 100 of them. No, you know what? We need to do a super ultra duper rare edition where we only make 10 of them. We put them into the market. And I bet you there's somebody out there that pays 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 for these items. Mass-produced scarcity. We can't use that term. Don't use the term mass-produced scarcity. Don't use the term artificial scarcity. Let's just put it out there and see what happens. There's a sucker born every minute. Beanie Babies worked on the same phenomenon. Certain Pez dispensers were produced in limited quantities, guys. Again, mass-produced scarcity has been occurring in the trade for decades, going all the way back to the 70s, 80s. It's been here. You guys just aren't aware of it, because now manufacturers got smart and they started to apply it to products that you have a passion for. And as a result, a lot of the Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters, when they have a passion for something, they're going to overpay for it. So that's why this is completely ridiculous. Number 7, they are easy to collect. Do you guys realize how stupid this is? Pez dispensers are easy to collect for. Lego is easy to collect for. Magic the Gathering is easy to collect for. Pokemon cards are easy to collect for. Most vintage toys are easy to collect for. Video games are easy to collect for. You know, all of what that means is that the barrier to entry is low. For instance, if you want to collect something like historical documents or high-end pieces of art or rare coins or something of that nature, you tend to have to spend a lot of time researching the basics, understanding the market dynamics, understanding what you're buying, what the grading system is, if there is one, what collectors covet in those markets. When we look at pop culture, all pop culture collectibles, for the most part, with few exceptions, are very easy to collect because the barrier to entry is low. If we look at the Hot Wheels market, you can go to your local Walmart, Target, wherever you buy Hot Wheels cars, and you can go to the store, you can buy them, and you can call yourself a collector or an investor, and they are very easy to buy and collect for. Does that mean in 20, 30, 40 years, those particular Hot Wheels cars that are on store shelves right now in the year 2023, they're going to be a good investment? I'm sorry, I disagree with that because people are hoarding them. People have hoarded them in the past. That's why if you go back literally 10 years, you're going to see there's not a whole lot of speculation or investment potential for Hot Wheels cars that were literally produced in the last few decades because everybody is hoarding them. Now, I'm sure there are certain cars out there, I think there are Chase Hot Wheels cars, where Mattel, the manufacturer, did limit production. It's no different than what they're doing with Funko Pops. Okay, guys? This is not the panacea of a new collecting boom. This is all the same shit wrapped up, put together in a nice bundle, and present it to the Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters who want to believe in it. Next, you can quickly sell them on the secondary market. Really? Really? Then why are they dumping some of them in landfill? If they're so easy to sell, why aren't they selling them? This is 100% false. I got to respond to this in full. This is what this particular article states. If you have more than one piece of the exact figure, you can easily trade it on the secondary market. There are numerous Funko Pop communities online which you can join and advertise the pop you are selling. However, this system has had many challenges with users not getting what they requested after falling into the hands of online con artists. If your pop is in mint condition, you will fetch some good cash for it. Can you guarantee that? Where's the guarantee? Is there a guarantee that if I buy this crap, someone's going to come along and buy it for me and pay more for it? Because that's the very definition of the greater fool theory. And that's what I teach on this particular YouTube channel. Remember, guys, don't hate me. This is a collectible finance channel. This is not a collectibles channel. That's what you guys got to get out of your head. This is a collectibles finance channel. Number 9. There are tools to keep track of your collection. Well, gee, if that's all it took for something to have value on the secondary market, do you know how many rare coin sites there are out there? Do you know how many price guides there are online devoted to Pez dispensers right now, still sitting out there? If that's all it takes for something to be deemed not a waste of money and or a good investment on the secondary market, every collecting category with a following in the year 2023 qualifies by that logic. That is the dumbest thing to put into an article. I cannot believe this. There's one more. There is a massive community of collectors. Yes, all speculative bubbles have a massive community of collectors, speculators, little starry-eyed Timmies, wannabe investors that all flock to it, and they all think it's going to be the next big thing. Then when it doesn't pan out, there are individuals that were smart enough, they got into the market, they made their money, they walked away, while everybody else is left holding the bag. May I introduce you to the wonderful YouTube video entitled Bankrupt by Beanie Babies. Go check that out and watch it, and you guys will get a lesson, because that is exactly where most of these Funko Pops are going to end up. Now, to be fair to the Funko Pop community, is it possible that you can make money in Funko Pops? The answer is yes. Is it possible that certain Funko Pops well into the future will still hold value and will still have money? The answer is yes. But let me know, with all the product that they're releasing on the market, how you're going to have the foresight to know which Funko Pops are going to be worth money 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. Because I'm going to tell you, the people that collected Beanie Babies and Pez dispensers and lost a lot of money in the process, they would love to know what secrets you're using, because even they couldn't figure it out. And that's how I'm going to end this video. You guys got to really be careful. There's a lot of hype-driven content out there on the internet that really is good at getting Timmies, Kimmies, and Poindexters to part with their hard-earned dollars. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and have a good night.